Hey, Angel, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Well, I've been excited about doing this with you, since we met,
Mhm.
talking to you about Lobo services and, some of the businesses that you've had in the Permian. It sounds like you've had a really interesting time out here.
Yes, I have, and I have enjoyed everything I've done here in the oil field in the Permian Basin.
Yeah, I love hearing that. It's really refreshing because, there's a lot of ups and downs in the oil field and in this line of work. And so to be able to continue to keep going even like through the booms and the busts, it can be challenging.
Definitely. Yeah, I've been on those up and downs.
But, I mean, even in, like, your personal story with your businesses, like, there's been some highs and lows, but when you came to the US at 13, right?
I was 13 years old.
What was your first impression when you came to this area?
Well, I knew I have relatives that lived here for years and years, and I knew that was the right place to be if I wanted to like make money or start a business or whatever, and I knew I was in the right place.
Was it a difficult transition when you first came here from Mexico?
It kind of was. Be honest with you, I told my parents that I wanted to go back. But I adjusted pretty quick. The life is better here. There's more chances, more uh, probably what I saw is more chances of having a better life.
Mhm. Well, when you got adjusted to being here, what was your first job like?
Well, I started cleaning offices downtown, cleaning after school. Started cleaning offices, running the vacuum cleaner and cleaning desks and stuff like that. That was first job I ever got.
Yeah, and then
And
from there, did you discover the oil field and kinda continue to make that transition into the business world?
yes, after that job, I worked at a restaurant for a little while, and then I decided that I wanted to like learn about the oil field, and so I started talking to my dad and told him that I had a vision that I wanted to go out in the oil field and learn how to do different types of work. You know, like I used to see these pulling units and drilling rigs, and I'm like, I want to go there and see what they do and all that. So I started working in the oil field when I was 17 years old.
Well, how did your dad react when you said that you wanted to do that?
He thought I was crazy. He's like, "Nah, you don't need to do that. There's oil field's pretty hard, and I give you everything you need to stay in school. I want you to follow a career, and I'll give you everything you need. I really want you to stay in school." And I insisted. I said, "No, I think I have a vision, and I know I can get there. It's not gonna be easy, but I'll get there." And he was just like, didn't agree with me.
Mhm.
So we had our conversations. Finally, I decided to drop out of school and went in the oil field. As a matter of fact, he took me with him, started doing pipeline work. And he had me working really, really hard, more than I should probably, but because he wanted to convince me to go back to school, but I
Oh,
didn't.
okay. Did that just, kinda drive you even more? Like, because you could see that vision, you knew it was out there, it was gonna take a lot of work, but there was something
Yeah.
you could do with that.
Yes, definitely. I had it in my mind. Since I thought about it, I'm like, this is what I want to do. And like I said, I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I knew I had to work really, really hard. And I never gave up. I mean, I had it in my mind, and I went through some really, really hard work and had to make some really tough decisions. But I, every time that I had like a doubt if I should keep going or not, I I was like, no, this is what I'm gonna do, and I stayed with it, and I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with dropping out of school and working that hard, did you find that it was actually easier to be in that environment than in the academic world of trying to be in school and to be in that world because you weren't getting the opportunities. Like the oil field, you can create an opportunity.
Yes.
But being in school and then trying to get odd jobs, cleaning offices and working in restaurants, there's not really a track for that.
No. So honestly, what I saw at my age, I was like, the schools, and I don't want to be a bad influence for kids or anybody, but the way I saw it was schools, they teach you how to work for somebody. You
Yeah.
know, you can be an engineer, you can be whatever, they teach you how to work for somebody. My idea was to learn different things, different types of work in the oil field, and uh, present myself to a company owner and say, I can run your company. I know how to do this and that, and know people that can give us work. I can grow your business and eventually like have my own business.
So you saw that from an early age that there wasn't a future in what you were doing as far as being in school and trying to work for someone else.
Yes.
Because you needed to be able to grow and learn this industry. And even though at that time you didn't know that much about it, you knew that there was a lot that you could learn and you could make money and you could be successful.
Yes. I knew if I go out there, it wasn't going to be easy, like I said earlier, but I was determined and I knew I had to go through a lot, learn all kinds of different types of work in the oil field. But I knew at the end I would have a good outcome, and I went through a lot, but here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very happy. I want to motivate people that a lot of times, people doesn't start a business because they're too scared. They're like,
Mhm.
what if it doesn't work? Or what if I spend my money and at some point, I have to give up and because I went through all that.
Mhm.
But I encourage people to stick with it and work hard and
Yeah.
get up early in the mornings and go to work.
Well, because big misconception is that failure is bad, but failure is a big part of being successful
Yes.
because you're not going to do it right the first time and things are going to happen along the
Yes.
way. Even when you do finally get to some stable ground where your business is being successful, anything can happen.
Right.
So you have to be able to withstand that and not give up if you failed or if something's gone wrong.
Yes. Yes. 100%. Um, like I said, I've been through ups and downs and it's just a matter of not giving up. Never give up. Keep going. Because I mean, like me, I started with nothing, and it wasn't easy, and I knew that. But I always thought that if I work hard, do things the right way, meet the right people, and I would be successful. And I always thought that way.
So when you were working with your dad and you got kind of into the pipeline side, did you stay with him for a while or did you branch out on your own?
I stayed with him as long as I could. But like I said, my idea was to learn different things. So I learned what I thought was enough for the moment about pipeline and equipment. And then I went to do something else. Like I went to do tubing testing. I went to work in the drilling rigs, pulling units. Um, I was like almost 19 years old when I was working in the pulling units. And everyone like treated me like a kid because I was the youngest one of
Mm.
all. And but I I went, from job to job until I learned enough and then moved on to the next one because that was my idea. To learn different types of work in the oil field.
There's a lot in the industry and even knowing like having that understanding so young that you can go to different parts of the industry just to learn it so that you can
Mhm.
use that knowledge later on.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. And I was very fortunate to meet the right people, I believe, in all the businesses I went to work for because they gave me opportunities. Back then, it was hard, people to give you opportunities. Like, for example, I started as a laborer working for this construction company, and the operators would not let you get on equipment because they thought maybe you
Oh,
would take the
yeah.
job, and
Mhm.
and so during lunch
Yes.
I would get on that equipment and mess with it until I learned
Mhm.
enough to for them to give me an opportunity to run equipment. So that's an example of every job that I got. I had to work my way up on every job.
Mhm. And so but you would see the opportunity, and even though there wasn't an actual opportunity yet, you knew if you put in that time and they saw that you were
Hmm.
making progress, that they would give you the opportunity and you'd be able
Yes,
to actually be an operator.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was times that I had to work like on weekends without getting paid just to have the opportunity to learn. So I believe, I was determined and I knew I had to do whatever it took to get to where I wanted to be. And I did all that. So,
And so when you were doing all of that, you're jumping around, you're learning the different positions, the different parts midstream and upstream, downstream, you're really
yes.
covering it all. And your goal was to have your own business or to be running a business. When did you get your first opportunity to do that?
To start my business?
Or to run you ran
Oh,
someone's business first,
yeah,
right?
back in 2001. I started running a construction company. Excuse me. It was kind of like a pipeline, dirt work, roustabout,
Mhm.
and so when I talked to the owner of the company, I told him we can add these other services to your company, and we can make more money, we can hire more people, and sure enough, I grew his business in like a year and a half to double the size.
And I'm sure that was exciting and,
Yes.
like, very validating because that's what you wanted to
Yeah,
do.
I felt really good.
And were you successful with that position? Did you enjoy it and working with that company?
I sure did. I did. I enjoyed it a lot.
So you knew by that time, like, that was going to be the position you wanted. You wanted to be a business owner.
Yes, definitely. That was my goal, and running this company for this guy really helped me feel more secure about owning my own business later. And I stayed with him long enough to learn enough, but not all of it. I mean,
Right.
it's just when you own your own business, everything changes.
Mhm.
You're the problem solver. It doesn't matter what happens in the company, you solve the problems. And when I was working for him, I did all I could, and then handle the rest of him, right?
Yeah.
So now owning my own business, and I have to solve whatever problems come at me.
But that was a great stepping stone because you didn't have
Yes,
the liability and you were able to once again, you're able to learn the position
yes,
without being fully committed. It wasn't your company yet.
correct. Yeah, yeah. I did my best working for him. He really appreciated me. He paid me good, and like I learned even more about owning a business because I was responsible of all these guys, keeping them busy, keeping my customers happy, keeping all the equipment going.
Mhm.
When I was working for this guy, I had 52 employees, and so we were working in Texas, New Mexico, but all over Texas. So it was pretty challenging, but I, I like to stay busy, so I enjoyed it.
Mhm. And that gives you that sense of everything that you'd learned up into that point, you were able to apply it because you have different employees doing different things, and you're able to keep up with what's happening in the company.
Yes, yes,
Well, when you left that company, that was when you started Lobos,
yes.
and you didn't have very much when you started Lobo Services, did
Yeah,
you?
I had very little, but I had the experience and I had the connections, and that helped me a lot.
But the biggest problem that you had at that time was that you knew how to run a business, you just didn't know how to start one, and you didn't have a lot of money to get started.
Right. Yeah, I didn't have the money to start a business or what I wanted to have to start a business. And also, um, when I left that company, I had to start my own like in a hurry. And the only thing I had was a '97 Ford that I had to put ether on it every morning to get it started. That compressor the same way. I bought an old compressor that was turned over, so flipped over and fixed it up a little bit, painted it, and how I started my business was sandblasting and coating tanks, and I had to wait for the non-compete time, which was like 4 months, and then I started doing pipeline right after that. So that was in March of '06 when I started my business, and by the end of '08, I already had like 40 some employees and equipment, and had built my building where we're at now, and I had it going really good.
And, I mean, so you really just used what you had at the time. You had
Yes.
an old truck and a compressor that had been wrecked, and you turned
Yes.
it into, uh, the company until you could like you said, that non-compete, like,
Yes.
4 months, that was what you could do for 4 months, so you didn't waste any time. Then you just learned another part of the business and added on when you could.
Correct. Yeah. While I was waiting for the non-compete time, I bought a backhoe, and I was preparing myself so when that time uh, had expired, then I can do other things. And I had connections about pylon work in Kentucky, and I had a good friend of mine that helped me get into the pipeline business up on the north side of the country. So we started doing about I don't know. he gave us like 3 lines that to we have to rehab, which is fix the anomalies and stuff, run the pigs and do the anomalies. And we started in Texas and we ended up all the way up in New York, Chicago,
Okay.
Pennsylvania. So that really helped my business financially. They paid really really good.
Well,
So
and there was a little bit of slow growth to that then, you were just adding on.
correct.
So when you were doing the pipeline rehab and you're doing the anomaly digs, because there was a time when that was in high demand
Yes.
and needing that kind of maintenance, I could imagine pays pretty well.
Yes, yes, definitely. I started doing that. I think it was late 2001, maybe with the company I was working for. But then I had learned. I went to some trainings in Houston. So when I started my business and we started going north, it was a little bit more challenging because of the over there you got a bunch of trees, hills, and
Yeah.
stuff. It's not like here,
Right.
and then a lot of moisture. You start digging and you either hit rock, mud, whatever, and then in the wintertime it was very hard.
Yes, the
So
Northeast is brutal.
yes, yes. So I had a lot of experience on the pipeline rehab at the time that our customers up on the north side they really liked us. I mean, they gave us a bunch of work, and what helped me a lot is that I went to some trainings for that, and I learned it really good. And they gave us like a special project crew, paid even better than the regular crews because we were digging like in rivers, on the side of the rivers, side of the hills,
Mhm.
really, really special projects on pipelines and a bunch of cutouts and stuff. And they had us going all over the place. So
And do you enjoy that kind of
I
work?
enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. There was times that it was really hard because we had to work really late, and we went through, pipelines. They usually run them, the old pipelines. They usually run them through these little bitty towns,
Mhm.
and we would go at night, try to get a nice hotel or
Oh,
food,
nothing would be open.
nothing would be open. And also these hotels were really run down,
Mhm.
and sometimes we rented our rooms just to shower.
Mhm.
We slept in the trucks.
Yeah.
It was so bad, we just wanted a shower. Sometimes we even shower in, if there was like a creek or a river, we would shower there. And
Yeah.
but then, too, we stayed in some really nice hotels like up in Steubenville, Ohio, New York, Oneonta. We stayed in really nice hotels. I mean, so it was,
Kinda
I,
give and take.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
because I mean, some of those small towns that you show up in with the pipeline, like, I mean,
yeah,
they're so far off an interstate or so far away from a major city, they're not populated like that.
right,
And you're only there for a short amount of time, so there
mhm,
isn't any reason to have those kind of lodging accommodations.
right. Yeah, I mean, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed traveling, so I enjoyed everything we did up north. Of course, it was like when in the winter it was really really cold. I mean, we worked in like 17 below zero up in Oneonta, New
Mhm.
York, and Buffalo, New York, and our problem was the equipment. We had to do it running day and night
Yep.
because it would start the next morning. And
Mhm.
yeah, I was just moving an excavator from one side to the other. It would freeze on the trailer.
Wow.
So we
I
had
believe that.
so, but it was fun. Good memories. It
Yeah,
was
and
fun.
I mean, good challenges and
Yes,
I mean, made you more skilled for I mean,
yes,
because working in the Northeast and pipeline, it's a lot different than the Permian Basin.
it really is.
And so it's a lot I mean, it's a lot easier to navigate out here. It's pretty flat and open.
See that rig over there? Just head
Yeah,
over there.
that's it. Yeah, but I mean, when you get up north, it's like you might not be able to see a quarter mile down the
Oh no,
road.
definitely. It's hilly and a lot of trees, and
Mhm.
we had our GPSs and stuff. We would still get, have troubles getting to the sites because they got our little roads and gates that are locked, and we have to find our way in there. A lot
Yeah.
of times, the landowners will get mad at us.
Oh, yeah.
Matter of fact, we were in Middletown, Ohio, one time, and we were digging on the right of way, and we started hitting shots. And we saw the shot hitting right there where we were. So we disappeared into the trees. It was this landowner shooting at us. We had to call the sheriffs, and then after that, we had to have the sheriffs there the whole time while we were
Yeah.
excavating. So
Yeah, I've heard stories like that.
yeah,
Landowners can get
mhm,
pretty territorial and a
yes,
little dramatic too. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
I'll tell you a funny story real quick. We were chasing a pig, the tool they run
mhm,
in the pipelines. And I came through this gate one time. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning because we had the AGMs every mile, and we had to get ahead of the pig to be timing, when it went through and
mhm.
everything, like document everything. And I went through this gate and then heard a shotgun behind me, and I'm like, I said, "What the hell are you doing here?" I said, "Man, I'm chasing a pig." "Chasing what?" And then I'm like, I gotta explain to this guy what I mean. It was funny, and I explained to him. He goes, "No, best thing for you to do is get out of here." I said, "Man, you don't understand. I got to get there right there. They give me 10 minutes, and I'll get out of here." And he finally did. I convinced him, but he stayed there. He stood there the whole time.
Just in case.
Just in case. And then I showed him on the way out what I did and documented and all that. And he was okay. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of stories.
Yeah, I'm sure you
Yeah.
do. Well, you were very determined, the quality of the work, and I mean,
Yes.
you weren't going to lose that progress even if the landowner was standing there with a
Mhm.
shotgun cocked and ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we had to go through doing
Mhm.
this type of work. It's not easy.
No. No, it isn't, and when you're traveling with the pipeline, I mean, you don't know where you're headed or what's gonna be
Mhm.
there, and then just getting there is a challenge, and like you said, when there's nowhere to stay and
Yeah.
nothing to eat, and then you're, on the right of way on location, and you still gotta do the job regardless
Yes.
of where it's at,
Yeah, definitely.
and you have to be able to withstand those types of working
Yes.
conditions and figure out how to work around it.
Yes, because they gave us deadlines on these pipelines because of course, they lower the pressure
Mhm.
until we get all these anomalies done, and so they were putting pressure on me from Houston, and then I had to report to them every day how much progress we made, and that would determine if we had like more time or we need to hurry up or slow down or whatever. Because every time, like every day, I would call Houston. This is what we have done. This is where we at. This is what I plan to do tomorrow, and so it was very challenging.
But I'm sure they could see your dedication and
Yes,
the diligence behind it, and because with everything else that you'd done up into that point, like, you were committed to every project you were on to deliver the
definitely.
quality.
Yes. Matter of fact, not to brag, but there was other companies doing the same type of work up north, and they were from up north, and we did a lot better than them. Like the main guy that was in charge of these repairs on these pipelines, he really liked us. Like I said, he gave us a chance to put a special project crew, and we travel all over the United States with those crews
I believe
because he
that
trusted us.
he must have really trusted you
Yes,
because there is friction between the North and the South when it
yes,
comes to working on pipelines.
yes, definitely. And two, the what's it called up there? The people that what's it called? Anyways, people that do the unions.
Union work, mhm.
Union, sorry. There was like 2, 3 times that they went and cut our lines, the fuel lines,
Yeah,
and broke our windows. They didn't
mhm.
want us there at all.
No, not at all.
So we had to put up with that too. So
Yeah, and especially during that time because that was early 2000s?
yeah, that from 2000 we did all this work when I was with this guy,
And
and
then
then when I started Lowe's '06, and we did it all the way up to like 2012.
okay.
Then I got out.
Yeah, because, I mean, during that time, like, unions are very tight-knit in the North,
Yes,
and they don't want non-union companies coming in because then
yes,
that weakens what they've built. But when
hmm,
someone can do it better or you've been offered the job or I mean, you're based out of Texas, you're, following orders from Houston, I mean, you're
yeah,
just going where the work is.
correct, yeah,
But that I've heard a lot of those stories, especially in Pennsylvania and New York,
yes,
where they can
especially
be extremely aggressive and violent.
yes, especially in Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
We had a lot of issues in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean, when you put Texas pipeliner on the back of your truck, you don't want that in Pennsylvania.
We had none of that, and then
No.
all my guys were well, most all my guys were Hispanic,
Mm.
so we usually get pulled over by like cops and search our trucks. I guess thinking we were trafficking or
Oh,
whatever,
wow.
and
That's a
it
stereotype.
yeah, didn't bother us, but We told them, we're pipeliners, we're doing this and that.
Mhm.
They'd be cool, they just search the truck, and let us go. But
Well, and it's kind of a double-edged sword because there are some people that will travel like that, pipeliners
yeah,
that'll travel, and they do cause
of
problems.
course,
So, I mean,
yeah,
it's kinda goes with the territory a little bit.
yeah. And two, like usually, we were all full of mud and everything. We would go try to go into Walmart to buy food, groceries. And there was a time in Steubenville, Ohio, that they wouldn't let us get in.
Mm,
And so I asked to talk to the manager to see if they would let one of us go in there. And the manager came and he goes, "Hey, your customer is the others. Come on in." And we clean our boots and everything, but we were all full of
yeah.
mud, and they let us in. So there was different states, different people, but I can tell you, Pennsylvania and New York, it was hard for us to work
Mhm.
up there,
Yeah.
especially the union people and just normal. I mean, people like landowners, they didn't want us in there. We had to have the right of way agents there. A lot of times we had to call the sheriffs to be able to do our work.
Mhm.
But I was always ahead of the game, always planning ahead. And
Right.
so I went and talked to these landowners with the right of way agent, and we knew where we were going to have issues. So we were already having the sheriffs there with us before we even started going in there.
Right.
Made it easier, but still, they didn't want us in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's good that you were able to be proactive because you knew that that was gonna be a problem
Yes.
one way or another.
Yes.
Well, you had grown Lobos from 2006 to about 2014, and you had over 100 employees at that time, right?
Yes, I had 112 employees 2014.
So things were going really well. I think by that time you'd said you were debt free. You owned all your equipment,
Correct.
and I mean things were going really well, or so you thought.
Yes,
Just
yes,
you were in New York, and you've got some distressing phone calls.
yes, definitely. Yeah, so yeah, I was in New York. We were working, and then my banker called me and said, "Hey, what are you doing? Are you buying equipment? Are you buying properties, or what are you doing?" I said, "No, I'm not doing any of that. I mean, I have what I need." He goes, "Well, there's a lot of money going out of your account." Uh, Long story short, I found out that the lady that I had in my office, because I put her in the signing list for checks and stuff because she had to pay bills and third party companies and all that. So yeah, she was stealing a lot of money. Like she was writing out checks, big, huge checks. Like in a month and a half, she stole over $5.7 million from me
And the reality of that came all at once
all at once.
because there wasn't anything you could do once the damage had been done, because she had funneled a lot of the money out, she had destroyed titles to your equipment, and you weren't even in the state.
That's right. Yeah, she planned it right. I believe she had all the time in the world to plan it before she even started doing it. And I told the FBI this had been planned because she did it perfectly to run me down into the ground. Because, like I said, she stole all the money. She shredded all the titles to all her equipment. Shredded a lot of paperwork for the IRS. I mean, destroyed everything she could. By the time I found out and got to Milan, I mean, I had a huge mess, and the company was in a lot of trouble. So I I turned it into the FBI, and then I stayed here to try to fix the problem. And I started by I had to go to court, take her to court until I got her thrown in jail, and then started doing what I had to do to get the company back up. I had a lot of equipment, thank God, a lot of equipment, a lot of trucks and stuff. So I still had some money left, but I had to sell a lot of my equipment to keep the company going. And from 112 employees, I went down to 5 employees. It was a huge hit. Like I didn't think I was going to survive.
Because that I mean, that could have been the end.
Yes,
And, I mean, to go down to 5 employees could have made you feel, I mean, hopeless, like, how are you ever gonna rebuild? Because, I mean, not only I mean, all that money, I mean, you had to let go of your employees, and you had people that wanted to get paid, and that the IRS was threatening to put the locks on the door and, like, didn't believe that you would be able to turn it around.
Right. Yeah. Um, a lot of people didn't think. My lawyers, my supervisors, there was people that didn't believe that I was going to be able to make it, so they left. They went to get another job, and of course I wasn't paying them, so they had to leave.
Right.
It's the guys that are now supervisors with me and that stayed with me. They went like 2.5 to 3 months without getting paid. I made them a promise, if you guys stay with me, we'll get this back up and going, and I will make it right for you guys, and I did. And but it was I wasn't even sure if I was gonna survive. It was so hard. I had people training me. I had 29 companies suing me, third parties that she didn't pay. She didn't pay the bills, and they came to my office trying to beat me up and get me out of the office and stuff. I'm like, man, we can go out there and fight and do whatever, but you're not gonna take any money,
Right.
Have a little fun and then you can leave. But and long story short, I paid everyone. I told everybody, all the companies that I owed money to, I told them, hey, including the IRS, I said, you give me time, let's make a deal. Uh, Believe in me, I will get you guys paid. And little by little, took a long time, but I paid everybody. All those guys that wanted to beat me up, now we go to lunch together, we do business together. It's a good feeling that
Yeah.
people believed in me, and I did what I said I was going to do, paid everyone, and we debt free again.
Well, and I mean, because I mean, even your lawyer was suggesting bankruptcy at
Yes,
that point, and a lot of people were suggesting it because to take that big of a hit, it would have been understandable that you would have just walked away,
right.
but you couldn't do that.
No, it wasn't in me. I couldn't do it, and I knew it was going to be very very hard, even harder than when I first started. I think because I was down in the hole a
Mhm.
lot, and the IRS breathing on my neck and people calling me and coming to the office. So I thought about it, but no, it wasn't in me to give up. So
'Cause you at least had to try. Like you
yes,
said, you weren't sure if you were gonna make it either, but there was no way you weren't going to at least try.
correct. Yeah, and that's what I want to encourage people. A lot of times, it seems really, really hard, seems impossible. But if you really um, put it in your head and work hard and push every day, a lot of times you have to do put it aside some things and to keep going forward towards that vision, and you can get there. I want to encourage people to do that. A lot of times it's not going to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would have a business, right? So just I encourage people to keep going, keep pushing. You will get there, but you have to have it up here and here.
Mhm.
If not, it'll make it harder. Because
Yeah.
I went through some hard times, and it was day nights. I couldn't stop thinking. I couldn't shut my brain down to go to sleep.
Mhm.
I was hungry, couldn't eat,
Mhm.
sleepy, I couldn't sleep. It was very, very hard.
Well, because you had built up a successful company and you'd worked so hard to get to that point, and you had people that counted on you, and you had no idea this was going on. It's not like business had been bad and you were
Right.
going through a hard spot. You just got a phone call
Yes.
and discovered all of this at once. And so that's a lot to try and process. And then, like you said, you have all these people wanting to get paid, and you're looking at the situation and then having to deal with the betrayal that this person you trusted in
Yes.
your business had done that. And so you were constantly having to break down those mental walls as you were moving forward,
Yeah. All together.
all at the same time.
All at the
I mean,
same
you're not
time.
just moving forward, you're climbing out of that hole for a
Yes.
while.
Yeah. It was so hard, but I really appreciate my guys, the ones that stuck with me, and being with me, and my customers, of
Mhm.
course. If it wasn't for them, I couldn't have done it. I couldn't done
Right.
it myself. So the guys that stay with me, I told them every day, that hey, we need to push harder to make all these guys that are coming in to work for us, make them feel secure, make them feel like they're in a good company. Um, and as right now, we have some really good crews. We are pretty picky about who we hired because we know that we cannot like have people that's not gonna help the business. Like
Mhm.
and all the supervisors, they know what we've been through, so we're pretty picky about who we hired.
Right.
And uh, the supervisors that have been with me since that happened or all the time, they they're really proud of what we done. The whole we came out of, and we talk about it all the time, and they like to tell the story to new people. Like, yeah, man, we went through this and that, and it's very satisfying, knowing that it was really hard and we were able to do it.
Yeah, and that you had those guys stick by you. I'm sure that
Yeah.
was helpful in a lot of those harder moments, those darker moments of wanting to give up or wondering
Yes.
if you're gonna make it, like, you had them with you.
Yes. Yeah. And we work a lot of long hours, weekends. Instead of hiring more guys, we did it ourselves. We kind of took double shifts and try to, save as much money. And we went back to them old trucks.
Yeah, kinda had to take a few steps back.
Yeah, and thank God we had good equipment. We kept the best equipment because we knew we had to have good equipment. We couldn't stop. Pickups you can drive an old truck,
Mhm.
but equipment we had to have good equipment.
Right.
So to be able to perform good and do the work that we had to do, and that was what kept us alive.
Well, how long did it take to get your finances straightened out?
Well, I'm gonna say at least 7 years, 6 to 7 years. We just came out of the hole not too long ago. So this happened in 14, and we struggled through like all these years. Of course, the first, like, I'm gonna say 15, 16 were the hardest, part of 17. But then from there, we were able to grow. We grew the business again, and we were have more money coming in, more cash flow, and we started buying more equipment and had more money coming in, and we were able to pay the debt sooner because we concentrated on paying the debt, and it took years to do that.
Yeah. Wow, yeah, I'm sure that that was a satisfying feeling, though, once you got all the way out.
Finally, yeah, it was a good feeling, and we had meetings, after we got out of the hole, and I told the supervisors and the guys that had been longer with us, we thought, okay, we're climbing up these steps, and started giving them raises, bonuses, and trying to make them feel again secure that, yeah, we're in the right path, we're gonna be okay. And as of right now, I think we're pretty strong.
Yeah. Well, that's quite an experience to go through and
Yes.
to come back from and to just keep moving forward. But because the highs and lows of the industry are one thing, but being near bankruptcy because an employee had embezzled money from your company, I mean
Yeah.
that's not an experience you would have ever been able to prepare for.
No, not really. Especially, I trusted this lady with everything. Like, she was always like very religious, and she showed me all, like, for the first year, that she was very loyal, and she would work, like, if I had to ask her to work Saturdays or work late, she was always there, and I mean, I had no reason not to trust her, and I did, and I learned by that. Now, I check everything, and the ladies I have in the office, I tell them I'm going to check everything. Don't feel bad, what happened in the past, and thank God I have two daughters working for me now, and one my son, and we have it going really good. We have a good team. We have really good communication, and we all together check everything and make sure everything's good. And we try to not to spend money when we don't have to. We're trying to save as much as we can. We're trying to have good equipment, good employees. Uh, I really think reputation of the company, of a business, has a lot to do with staying busy. And through the years, I can tell you, we've never been slow. I mean, we lost a lot of people because of the investment, but we've never been slow. I've never had to lay anybody off, even through those hard times. We do different things. We do different services, so that's why we've been able to stay busy.
Right, when you're able to diversify like that, you can gauge what's going on in the market, whether, there's pipeline or there's dirt work or, I mean, what roustabout, and
Yes,
you can keep guys busy if you have different services available.
definitely. Um, if I can say what we do,
Yeah,
just as far as
absolutely.
services.
So, yeah, well, it's now with Lobos that you've continued on with the name, continued on with the company, are you mostly here in the Permian Basin working, or do you still travel all over?
Right now, we're here local within, I would say, 100-150 mile range. Some into New Mexico, but most here around the area. Like I said, we've been able to keep busy here. I wouldn't mind traveling to other states because we're used to that. I wouldn't mind at all, but we got plenty of work here. There's no need to go anywhere
Mhm.
else. Now, if we would slow down here or we had to go to some other states for a customer, we would too. So no problem there. So our main service is pipeline. Any type of pipeline, new construction, repairs, you name it. We do it all. Even coating, pipeline coating, uh, and we do dirt work. Like we build roads, we build pads for the tank batteries for the drilling rigs.
Mhm.
We build frac pits. We line the pits. We put the plastic on the
Mhm.
pits. We do rustabout work, trucking. We got all kinds of equipment.
With your trucking, do you do, like, vacuum trucks or heavy haul or
We do all that. We have some water trucks. I really got like when we were doing good before the investment, I had like 44 trucks running day and night most times. Now we reduce the water truck service because we're too busy doing pipeline and dirt work. But
Oh,
we
okay.
do have some, but we do have water trucks as well.
Well, that is a lot to have going on, but in addition to Lobos, you have a few other businesses as well.
Yeah, I have 7 other businesses, but one business that we're promoting right now and trying to advertise out there is flaring. I own a pipeline, a flaring company. We build our own flares, and is one of the best in the market right now.
And it's a smokeless flare,
Smokeless flare,
but it doesn't need anything to operate, correct?
correct? Yeah, most flares have to have like a blower, have to have electricity for the blower and all kinds of attachments. Ours don't have any. I mean, not at all. You install this flare and you don't need electricity. You don't need uh, blower. You don't need any kind of attachments. Nothing at all, and it makes it real unique because it burns over 99.9% of BOCs. So it's really the best in the market right now. We're having shows in Houston, Austin. We're trying to go global with this thing. We're gonna have some people from Kuwait coming next week.
Oh, it's exciting.
Yes, and then they want us to go have a presentation in Dubai. They're very interesting on our flare. We have some contact with Pemex in Mexico and some companies out of Saudi Arabia. So we're moving along. We're already selling a bunch here in the United States, but
Mhm.
we want to get farther to
Yeah.
other countries.
Well, that's so important because flaring and I mean the smoke from the flares is a problem everywhere. And
Yes,
so to have a smokeless flare but then to not need anything to operate it, I mean it does seem like that could be valuable everywhere.
correct. Yeah, we've been in some installations that we sell the flare to like a new customer, and we take off their flare and put ours, and they're like, "How is that possible?
Yeah.
No blower, nothing, just a flare, and it burns completely smokeless compared to ours." And we're like, "Well, it's a secret."
Yeah.
But yeah, they see the difference, and then they keep buying more from us. And
Right.
yeah, the EPA is coming down on most producers, and we're getting out there more because the word, from one company to the other, telling them about our flare, then they
Mhm.
they give us a call, and then we have meetings, we have presentations, and it's selling more and more. So
Yeah, well, I could see that, like, I mean, that's a great referral. And I mean, you see the smokeless flare and how clean it is
mhm.
compared to what had been on there. So speaks for itself.
Right. And two, like I said, we have flares out there for over 3 years, no maintenance,
Wow.
no maintenance. And the other ones, they have the blower, they have to constantly issues with the blowers. They have to constantly be out there doing maintenance on them, and ours don't. And it's hard to believe. I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of people don't believe it, but our customers that have these flares for over 2, 3 years, they even tell us, "Hey, man, if you want to have someone call me, some of your new customers, have them call us. We'll explain and we'll tell them how this flare works and how happy we are with these flares."
Well,
And
that sounds like a great product.
it is, it really is. I like to for people that like to give us a try. We have some portable flares.
Mhm.
Like we have done this for several customers. Like we go install our flare for 30 days. If they don't like it, then we just take it down. But every time they keep it. There
Okay.
hadn't been one time that said, "No, take your flare down." Seriously, and some people, we talk about it and they're like, "Yeah, you're full of it."
Mhm.
But once they see it, it's day and night.
Yeah. Well, that is really exciting, and that's an exciting thing to be a part of
Yes,
at like with where you're at because you've grown so much with your businesses and I mean through the highs and the lows and a
correct.
lot of the challenges and so now you're getting into some innovation and new service for the industry that you can
Yes.
provide.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Like I said, we're trying to expand more with that company. We're trying to grow it right now. We're trying to make contact with these bigger companies, like the decision makers. Planning on going to Houston and have some presentations with the corporates over there and see if we can expose it more.
Mhm.
But there
Yeah.
is a big need for that. Seriously, I mean, there's companies that they have tried different flares, different companies, and they're still having issues. They have better flares now, but not. They're still like getting in trouble, getting fines,
Mhm.
and the customers that we have now, they've been left alone.
Wow. Well, that's
Yes,
exciting too,
yes,
because it's understandable that that's a problem. We're trying to find a solution, but this is a solution.
it is. It really is. That's the way we present it at the shows where we present the flare, like in different shows that we've been going to. Is like, we're not. We're here to solve a problem, to show you how to solve the flare problem. It's not let's try this flare and see how it works. It will work. We
Mhm.
guarantee it. And a lot of customers that, like I said, they kind of don't believe us, and we show them videos and pictures, and they probably think we're editing them, but
Mhm.
we're not. I mean, it's a real thing
Right.
until they see the real flare. Like sometimes they fly into Midland and we take them to the field to take a look at these flares, and they're impressed.
Right.
They ask a lot of questions. How does it work? How do you do
Right.
this? Because, like I say, it has no attachments, no way to say, well, it's got a lot of air, or
Mhm.
this flare produces or has an intake of enough air as it needs it. The bullet, what we call the bullet, what's inside the flare,
Mhm.
is what makes the difference. It holds it's got like a vortex effect inside the bullet and then through the flare itself, and it makes it stay in there longer. It burns hotter, so it burns I can say 100% safely. And what it does is on the bullet itself, it creates this vortex effect, and then the heavy stuff goes to the outside, the light stuff through the middle, so it burns it as it comes out of the bullet, and it doesn't burn inside. Seriously, it's out of the flare itself, and that's why our flares last longer and doesn't need any maintenance or
Okay.
replacement or nothing, because most flares are burning. They have the flame inside,
Mhm.
and it's, of course, it's metal, but it's gonna burn with time.
Mhm.
Ours, it's outside,
Okay.
so it makes the effect inside the flare, but the flame is outside.
Okay. I could see where
And
like they last so long.
yeah, yeah, we haven't had any issues with any of our flares as of right now.
Well, that's an exciting,
Yeah,
endeavor to be a part of now.
yeah,
Well, you stay
definitely.
really busy with Lobos and your businesses and now with your Smokeless Flare.
Yes.
What would you say you're most excited about right now and into the future with where you are as a business owner?
Well, the flaring is something that we feel like we're helping the environment,
Mhm.
helping companies
Mhm.
not being fined, and I mean, take care of our planet. I mean, it feels good
Yeah.
because it's a big thing for us. It really is. And as far as my construction company, um, it's just we have a lot of employees, and I like to see my employees happy. We like to employ people, that really need a job. A lot of times we have employees coming to apply, and I interview one by one, and I see if they're really interested on like creating a career with us, or they're just going by. They want to work a month or two.
Mhm.
And so I feel good when I see the need on an employee. Like, man, I really need work. I have family, I have bills and stuff, and even if they don't know anything, we train them because I see what the need is, because I've been there.
Mhm.
I've been there when I started in the oil field, and then I got married uh, after I started working in the oil field, and while I was learning how to do different things, and I know how it is. It was hard to pay bills, pay
Mhm.
rent, and keep my family
Right.
fed and everything. So I see the need on some of these guys, and like I said, we get them in, we train them, and put them to work.
I'm sure that is a good feeling knowing
It
that you
is,
can help
yes,
and lift them up, and because like you said, you've been there.
yes, not fun.
No, no, I'm definitely you've
Yeah,
definitely been through the highs and lows,
I
Angel,
have.
and I really appreciate you coming on the show today and talking about Lobos and sharing your journey. I'm sure it will be refreshing and inspiring for those that have been through the similar situations or going through some of those struggles in their businesses to hear your story.
I hope so. I hope I can motivate people to not give up. Like, keep fighting, keep pushing. You can get there, but don't give up.
Well, thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You bet.